This presentation was actually also born out of the last alcohol analytics event. We asked what attendees wanted to hear about when it came to a social media app and what they wanted a deeper dive into. So Snapchat was what came out of that, and we're about to take a deeper dive into the GeoFilter app. So first off, this is what people know this app for, but what I want to speak about today is, for one, the Snapchat 101 for a lot of people who do not know how people use it, but what it is, how it's used, and why this specific application's user behavior is a lot different than other social media. So it's about how people use it, not what features it has or what's cool about it. So Snapchat, secondly, I want to show that you can find your audience in this application and that it is a valuable addition to your marketing mix when it's used the right way. So what is Snapchat? It's about making yourself into a pumpkin spice latte using augmented reality. Well, maybe not. So people tend to think that it is making yourself into a pumpkin, or the disappearing photo messages, or the fact that you can find your friends and kind of big brother-ish creep on them really easily. But it's not about that. It's actually about the user behavior. So it's truly unique because of how they've shaped this and the networks you build on this application. So again, why it's unique, if you think about other forms of social media, Facebook, Instagram, those started by attempting to make moments last forever. So it's about showing your best self. You're putting your best self forward into a network that you're trying to grow, build, find associates, find people that you haven't connected with in a while. Instant messaging, WhatsApp, iMessage, those things are about efficient, archivable conversation. Specifically, Snapchat is the exact opposite. So it's about showing people where you are, what you're doing, how you're feeling in the moment. So it's kind of the behind the scenes. It's your true self, not necessarily your best self. You're answering questions like, where are you? Where's that food from? Oh, I'm at that alcohol and analytics event too. Let's meet up after. It's easier, I can say this, but it's easier if I show you a quick video screen recorded from my phone on last Sunday. So this is me, lazy Sunday at 5 o'clock. I'm sitting in bed, embarrassing, I know, watching Green Bay Packers. So I edit this photo. I decide, okay, I'm going to share it with my full network, and then I'm also going to share it with a couple friends. So I choose my friends, kind of send it off. Oh, Chris from work, designer from work, he sends me a Snapchat, so I watch what he's up to. He's cooking something in the oven. Scroll over, watch what my friends are up to, their live updates throughout the day. Let's see, okay, Mark, see what he's up to. Oh, he's up the lake, and fly through there. Okay, a pop-up ad appears. Watch that for a bit, and I scroll down, and then all of a sudden the message that I put out there is responded to by my brother, of all people. So eventually he's going to reply to me with a video, which is unique. If I texted someone, they'd usually text back. He's just replied to a video with a video. Let's see what he has to say. He's watching football as well.
Man, come by. Mom's making dinner. Let's watch the ball.
So he wants me to come over for dinner. My mom's making food, so that's a win-win situation. I respond back so quick. I mean, it's hard out here. You gotta eat dinner when you can. So, why is this app unique? Because it's about connection. It's about constructing a network that you want to show your true self. It's kind of unpolished, live, or uncut, raw and uncut clips of your life, and it's about connection. So you build a circle of trust, as Robert De Niro would say in Meet the Fockers. So you only let people in, and you craft that network size to appeal to your circle of trust. Let's see how they achieve this. So if you look at the first screen of 3 popular apps, first impressions are everything. So WhatsApp, similar to iMessage. What do you see when you see this first screen? You see archived conversations. You see a missed video call, whatever it is. you can pick up and go, efficiently text people back and forth. You look at Instagram, what do you see? You see a beautiful photo from Sherpa's summer student on some farmland. You can like, you can comment, you can go scroll through your feed and see what other people are liking and who's commenting. You open up Snapchat, what do you see? It's just a selfie cam of yourself. So initially, this was a huge shock to anyone who downloaded the app because what are you doing? What is the purpose of this app? It's a camera. Well, it's asking you to share. It's asking you to take a photo, take a video, whatever you're doing, and send it to a friend. Get a reply back in a photo or a video. So they set the tone for what they want you to do in the app. User norms, consumer behavior within the application has been set. Those are habits that have been created. So Snapchat's very unique when it comes to this. So again, how people use it, similar to iMessage, WhatsApp, have conversations, create, share, respond very quickly, give kind of snippets of your day, and easy entertainment. There's actually different periodicals that will kind of give you updates on celebrities, blogs, current events. Into the functionality, again, this is pretty straightforward, but you take a picture, you choose whether to share it with your full network, a group of people, or an individual, and then you fire it off. The chat aspect, so you swipe to the left off that camera screen, and you see a list of archived conversations. So it's a dynamic direct message system. You could have live video calls. You could have audio video calls in there. You could have group chats. And specifically why it's interesting within the chat functionality is that it's a mixed media because the app started where you can just send photos back and forth, so people are used to that. So now you'll send a video, get a reply and a text back. I asked if Burmese drops a good sleeper pick this year in our fantasy draft, and I got laughed at. But yeah, things like that. It's a dynamic way of messaging. So the next feature, you swipe right off that camera app, and you actually can watch live updates from your network. So what your friends are doing in the moment, these stories, so if you choose to post to your network, it lasts for 24 hours. So it keeps it fresh, it's live, it's where your friends are. So an example of what kind of story this would be is, or what kind of things you would post to this is something I would post something like I did when I walked up here. So this is a wedding that I was at. I wanted to show kind of what I was doing, where I was, and you open the app, it's a camera, you take the picture, and you post it to your story, and put it in your pocket. So it's a fun time. I wanted to get in there and show everyone how good of a time I was having. So posted that story, and I was off. Jewish weddings, great time. Other unique features that this app it supports the way people use this app. So a geographic map overlaid with a Find My Friends feature. So when you pinch the screen on the main camera, you actually zoom out to a full map. You can see where everyone is. So if you're at a Jets game, if you're at a Cinema Park, you can see how close your network is to you, and you will actually be able to click their little avatar and text them really quickly. So it adds to that closeness of the network. You don't really want everyone to see where you are. You want the circle of trust to see where you are. Next, you have Discover, so you have those BuzzFeed type articles, there's CNN, there's Mashable. You can watch different perspectives of a sports event from the people snapping at that sports event. That's called Discover. Next is what that pumpkin spice latte filter earlier is. It's what people think Snapchat is about, but it's really about, it's what people think Snapchat is about, but it's the Snapchat lenses. So augmented reality filters, really cool, show up in a lot of apps, and they elevate really any experience. So they add to that chat, that photo and video chat experience. So this is an otherwise boring event of me sitting in bed with my girlfriend, but we got really excited over this Daft Punk electronic music filter. And the words are flashing on the screen, you become Daft Punk. So, we're way too jacked about this. We're just sitting in bed, but that's the type of thing that it enhances. It enhances any moment and allows you to share it with friends. So why care about Snapchat? Specifically, 166 million daily active users. Out of these daily active users, so someone who uses the app every day, they open the app about 18 times on average per day. 60% of Snapchatters use photo or video to share. Snapchatters average about 7 billion video views per day, and that's only on one device. If you think about Facebook, if you think about Instagram, you have the access of a desktop, you have the access of a mobile phone. Snapchat, you're only on your mobile phone and you're using it to connect with other people. So the last point here, users are trained to interact with ads. So that Starbucks filter, different types of elements of advertisement on Snapchat, you're actually used to engage with it, you're trained to engage with it and actually share it with your circle of trust. Finally, non-users tend to write this app off as like for a younger demographic. It's not for my business, whatever those excuses may be, but your audience is using this app. So if I look at my personal network, I have CFAs, CPAs, doctors, lawyers, all using the app every day. Like this screen cap right here is 2 doctors in residency using the app at HSC. So if someone's using the app, you should find a way to get in front of their face, only if you can measure the results and measure the engagement after. So that's what we'll get into. So more about users, 60% are between 18 and 34, just supporting that point. 30 minutes per day on the app, average. And one thing that's interesting that everyone here will find interesting is that only 2% of Snapchatters explore a business profile. So organically, this app, organically, you're not going to build a following, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to build a following at all, because 41% will follow an influencer or celebrity, and this means that you just have to find a different way to reach out to the audience on Snapchat. So it may be through your employees and getting them to vouch for your business through their network, or it may be finding an influencer that people can follow and invite into their circle within the application. An example of kind of the virality that can happen is rap producer, C-list celebrity, DJ Khaled, actually gains 4 million views daily on his stories. So people that watch his life, 4 million people watch his life every day. On average, The Big Bang Theory only gets 3.3 million views per episode. So every day he gets more views than The Big Bang Theory does on average. And where does the business fit in? So how do you become successful in the circle of trust? How do people share your brand? First, the don'ts, obviously. If you're not an influencer, don't attempt to build a following organically. Virality is hard to come by at this point. It's about a human message rather than a corporate message or a sales tagline. So it's not sales-based. Users want fun, creative, engaging material. So storytelling, it doesn't have to be jokes all the time, but tell a story of why a human would interact with your brand. So the first way that you can advertise on Snapchat, GeoFilters. What GeoFilters are, they're brand inflections that locations determine. So overlays that you can use, so design elements, where you take a picture and you could augment your photo with a specific design, and it's based on geography. So what we did today was we traced a fence in the Snapchat portal around the Winter Club, and anyone in this facility can use our alcohol and analytics filter to augment their image and share with their network. So just remember that users choose to share these brand inflections. So less brand focus, more experience focus. And if I look at my friend here, Stuart Moffat, the biggest agri nerd I know, we can look at an example of, say, a trade show. Someone may not want to share your logo and your sales tagline with their whole network because it is their circle of trust. They're showing who they are and they're showing kind of their true self. But maybe something like a tagline like AgriNerd, where you're saying, oh yeah, this is me, I'm at this trade show, this is who I am. you're going to want to show that with your full network. So you can do cool things. You can trace around trade shows, service areas, kind of dense hubs of mobile users. You see tons of these GeoFilters, branded GeoFilters at Bomber games, conferences, fitness centers, and you can do competitions. So something cool you can do is like hide GeoFilters around the city, and you could unlock a deal, perhaps, if you find and share those GeoFilters. The next way to advertise with Snapchat, so in-stream ads. This is a new feature that was just opened up to all businesses on Snapchat to advertise. And they're YouTube-type pop-up ads. So if you think of a YouTube video and an ad popping up at the beginning, you just click that skip button. So these are actually unpredictable. You don't know when they're going to pop up. They happen when you're exploring your friends' daily stories. And they're unaffected like YouTube videos in the fact that they're not affected by ad blockers. A bidding model similar to Google Analytics or Facebook, cost per click, cost per 1,000 impressions. You can target by geography, demographic, affinity categories. And these affinity categories get quite specific, so household income, purchase history, locations, where users have snapped from. And you can retarget based on if they've used your filters in the past. So you can do lots of cool things, and you can find your audience within the app. Something cool that for small businesses is actually, if you think about what an ad manager is, you provide your creative, you then set your campaign, set your budget, set your audience, and launch it. They've thought of the fact that a lot of small businesses might not have the resources to actually create good creative. So they've built in a self-serve ad portal where you could actually design video ads and design GeoFilters by yourself using your logo, your assets, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you can't afford to have great creative, you could at least serve ads if you need to get the message across. So an example of in-stream ads, and this is an example of an Instagram campaign that is very engaging. It deals with finance, money, robo-investing, which you might not think is the best kind of audience for Snapchat, but this Instagram campaign would be perfect for in-stream ads if we know what we know about Snapchat users. So this campaign uses influencers like John Hamm, Elijah Wood, to actually share personal finance stories. And this is relatable, this is human. So when they get to, it leads to a blog article, you can read about their stories, and then you could actually explore about wealth symbols. So we know that Snapchat users love influencers. We also know that they love video. So if you had these celebrities actually telling the story, and that popped up while you were exploring your friend's feed or your friend's live updates, you're going to engage with that. You're going to want to learn because there is discover features. There are easy things to learn on the app, and this would just go along with the theme of the app. So relatable to any user, kind of perfect for Snapchat in the fact that it's education-based and it focuses on more learning rather than promotion. It's about storytelling. It's about telling a good story. So that would be a great ad for in-stream ads, but yeah, just moving on. Branded lenses. So everyone, this is what you know Snapchat for. This is what people say, oh yeah, it's Snapchat. It's about turning your head into a taco. It's about.
Just a question about the John Hamm thing. So are you saying that what you're encouraging people to do is to take back the or get them to speak their story in Snapchat and that as the great piece?
So
the link to the Instagram.
So you would have your Instagram campaign,
yeah,
which is very dynamic, and then you would actually translate that into video because that is a medium that you use on Snapchat to be most effective, and you would get them to speak the story, and you would get the catchy tagline, get someone in, like as a pop of that, you get someone very intrigued about it right away, and get them to convert and read the blog article from there. So yeah, those in-stream ads just released to everyone before you would have to actually talk to Snapchat and get access. So there's a lot of not very great ads out there right now, but you're starting to see things like the bombers and the companies picking those low-hanging fruit, those easy things to reach audiences and tell you, hey, I'm in front of your face, convert right now. You're able to see those things now on Snapchat, which is pretty exciting. So the branded lens, that's what people think Snapchat is about. That's really only for the big companies like the Taco Bells, like the Gatorades. They usually cost about $200,000 to $2 million for a daily, for 1 day of having an augmented reality filter. And it's not at the self-serve portal, it's more you have to contact the sales team. I mean, it'd be so fun to do one of these campaigns. You get so much data back that you could actually learn about the audience, but it's not necessarily applicable to day-to-day businesses. One fun thing, Pepsi, they actually have, when you snap, so you actually take a picture of the bottle and unlock an augmented reality filter. And I mean, that's engaging, that's awesome, and that is going to be shared way more times than not. So those are my concluding thoughts. Just C2C network, human messaging, storytelling. So make sure you're telling a message or sharing a message that's human. Make sure that you're finding your audience, measuring the results, and then altering the message based on what you're doing and what you're finding on your own site. Snapchat, again, you can find your audience on Snapchat, and it's a valuable addition to your market mix if you have the right message. And that's it for me today. Happy snapping, and I encourage you to use the A&A filter.